All right, so today we're going to be doing an extension of what we did yesterday. The same instructions, factor the common factor out of each expression. So today I'm going to work 47 through 50. So let's take a look. My terms, I'm going to factor the greatest common factor out. So the biggest number that 25 and 10 can be divided by is 5. So I'm going to factor the 5. The greatest common factor is 5. Letter-wise, I don't have a letter. In order for my greatest common factor to have a letter, all my terms need to have a letter. But I see 25 doesn't have a letter, so my greatest common factor does not come with a letter. Now, not only do I have to write the greatest common factor, but it says factor it out. So I'm going to have a parentheses. I'm going to have the factor out. Basically, I'm going to do the distributive property backwards. So what I'm going to do in this case, let me divide each of my coefficients, so each of my numbers, let me divide it by 5. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. Then there's a plus sign. 10 divided by 5 is 2x. That's it. Now let's take a look at question number 48. Number-wise, 45, 10, and 50, the greatest common factor is 5. Letter-wise, they all have a letter, so I'm going to factor out the smallest exponent. So n to the second, because I'm going to have my parentheses. So I'm going to open this thing up. What I'm going to do, let me divide each of my numbers by 5. Letter-wise, let me subtract 2 from each exponent. So the first term, I'm looking at my first term here. Remember, the number divided by 5, letter-wise, subtract 2 from the exponent. So 45 divided by 5 is 9, n to the 4th. My next term, I see it here with the sign included. Let me divide the number by 5. So negative 10 divided by 5 is a negative 2. Letter-wise, n to the second. Because remember, I subtracted 2 from the letter. My last term, we can see it here. So positive 50 divided by 5 is a positive 10th. Letter-wise, subtract 2 from the exponent, so I don't have an n anymore. And then I close my parentheses, and that's it. Let's take a look at a couple more examples. Let's take a look at 49. Let me scroll here to 49. So number-wise, my greatest common factor, the biggest number that I can divide it by, will be a 9. Letter-wise, n to the 1, right? I go with the smallest exponent. So let me open my parentheses. Each of my terms, number-wise, I'm going to divide it by 9. Letter-wise, I'm going to subtract the 1 from the exponent. Look at the first term. Remember, the number divided by 9, and then subtract 1 from the exponent. So I should get 9 n to the 3rd. Remember, 81 divided by 9 is 9. Subtract 1 from the exponent, so that's good. My next term, so negative 81 divided by 9, I get a negative 9 n to the 2nd. My third term is right here. Negative 63 divided by 9 is a negative 7 n to the 1. Remember, I'm dividing by 9 and subtracting 1 from the exponent. My last term, negative 81 divided by 9 is a negative 9, and I don't have a letter anymore. If the first number, so let me highlight here, if the first term was a negative, because I want my parentheses to start with a positive, so if the first term was a negative, make sure in your greatest common factor also factor out a negative. In this case, we don't have it, but I'm saying if the first term was negative, make sure you factor out a negative sign as well. Okay, let's take a look at our last example. Number-wise, I'm going to divide everything by 6. Letter-wise, nothing, because the last term doesn't have a letter. So I'm going to divide everything by 6. Looking at my first term, I know 6 divided by 6 is 1, but when there's a 1, we don't write it. When there's a 1 with the letter, we don't write it. We write the 1 if there's no letter, but in this case, I'm going to have inside n to the second. Right? I don't write the 1. So again, I'm dividing each number by 6. I'm not doing anything to the letters. Now, positive 12 divided by 6 is positive 2n. And my last example here, 6 divided by 6 is 1, but because there's no letter in this case, yeah, we do write the 1. Okay,